What's going on, guys? Welcome back to your favorite construction channel. If you are new to this channel, wait to subscribe. Yeah, watch the whole video, then you can decide if you want to subscribe or not. Okay. Yeah, first of all, I'm here to apologize. It's been quite a while. Yeah, I think close to three to 4 months that we haven't been posting anything on this channel. Yeah, but you know, that's how busy life can get, you know. Yeah, there's been quite a lot going on, but we are back and we are better and we are bigger. So many people have been contacting me saying, oh, is everything okay? Are you guys still in business? What's going on? Yeah, first of all, this is proof of life. I'm alive and I'm kicking. The team is good. The team is doing big things. The team is doing amazing things. We've been doing a lot of team building. We've been doing a lot of projects here and there. And that is what has actually really kept us busy. Yeah. So what I'm just going to show you in this video, I'm just going to show you maybe just a fraction of some of the projects we've been handling, and also to give you a plan of the things that we're actually going to do in the next couple of months or even years. Yeah, because now we plan to be a bit more consistent. Yeah, because sometimes it does not make a lot of sense when we come here and talk on YouTube and discuss things with you when the back end is also struggling. So we have to make sure that the back end is intact, team building, handling projects and delivering for clients, rather than just coming here to show you videos. Okay. So what we are going to do in the next couple of months, we are going to be doing videos for you. When we are designing or building, some things really look obvious, yeah, but over the years, over the months, I've discovered that things are actually not as obvious to everyone, or this knowledge is not readily available to everyone. Yeah, for example, in the next video, we are going to be doing a couple of videos. One of them is a comparison between hidden roofs and also the hipped roofs as well. Yeah, you can see, for example, in this project in particular, we've chosen by the way, this is the 4-bedroom compact house. Those of you who have followed this channel, you must have noticed something. Maybe if you can't notice, we'll be giving you a detailed tour later, because now we are at the plastering stage and all that. But on this project in particular, we chose a terrace, and also we chose to have a hidden roof. As you can see there, you might not be able to notice even the roof. Even on this part of the structure, we also have a hidden roof. Yeah, so also everything on this project has really stayed on plan, with the exception of just a little pond. You can call it a pond, you can call it a mini pool, you can call it a jacuzzi that we are just adding in this very space right here. Yeah, so maybe you'll be able to see that when we are talking about this project in detail. So we are going to be discussing that, the difference between the hipped roof and the hidden roofs, and as also a terrace, in terms of cost, in terms of durability, in terms of beauty, and also in terms of application, because it doesn't mean that you can apply anything anywhere. Okay. Another video that we'll be doing very soon is one about comparing different types of rails. On this project in particular, we are going to be using glass rails all around, both for this the second floor, and also for the first floor. Yeah, then the ground floor actually doesn't have any balconies. So I'm going to also be breaking down for you the difference between using the steel rails, also using glass rails. Glass rails also have different types. There are those that have bigger sections. They have bigger gaps between the panels of the glass. There are those that are all continuous. There are those that are one-way glass. There are those, but people have concerns about whether they are safe to use, with how strong they are, and things like that. We're going to break all those down in one of the videos we're going to do in the near future. Also, of course, comparing it with steel hollow rails or using plate rails. Plate rails, maybe someone can show you a picture on the screen. Then also we are going to also be doing another video that has to do with comparing aluminum windows and steel windows, because once you know the difference between aluminum and steel windows, if you really know, you might struggle to make the decision, because there is a lot of different pros and cons for each of the two. But we'll also be getting into that. Many more videos are actually going to be coming. Yeah, but in this video, I just came to tell you about these videos we are going to be doing over the next couple of months, and also to just give you a small, how can I call it, just a small tour on just a few of the projects that we've been doing. Of course, we've been doing quite a lot. If maybe you can just show them on the screen, the progress, just that at the stage where they are, they might not be able to make sense to each and everyone, but usually want to make a video on a project when it has actually begun to make sense in the visual kind of way, where someone can easily relate the project and also the design on the other side. So I hope you're going to have something to learn or something to get inspired by, okay, as we go through some of these works. So for example, this project in particular, this is the Chituk project, which is a 4-bedroom house. Of course, it has other rooms. It has a pantry, it has a laundry, it has an office. That balcony there, you see that is popping outside above the parking. That's a balcony for the study or for the office. Yeah, remember for this one in the design originally, it was meant to have some kind of brown in it, kind of brown and orange. Yeah, but at the time of construction, the client chose a different color. Also, as you can see, the balcony rails that we used are different from what was in the design. Originally, we had planned to use glass rails, but those are choices you can always make along the way as you build. Okay, so as you can see, that's the compound, that's the parking for one car, and also if you to be careful, you can see how neat the roofing is. Yeah, for now this is just the compound. The front view is really nice. There are many balconies at the front. Everyone almost has a view of the whole compound in general. Yeah, you look at the roof is also clean and neat. Yeah, with a molded eave, of course. Yeah, that's the front of the house.
We were sparks on quiet streets, two hearts finding where to meet. But life pulled us apart, left me talking to the dark. If I called you tonight, would it feel the same?
Yeah, so now coming from the back, as you can see, we have that we are going to have a tall window that's on the stairs. Yeah, just right there, the stairs. We are going to have a tall window that comes all the way from the first floor all the way up down to the ground floor, as you can see. Yeah, so at the time of recording this video, the painting was still at the primer level, but by now the painting is already done. The client ended up going for Marble-Tex, which is also like an alternative for texture pastes, but it looks a bit more different. But in terms of functionality and durability, they should really be able to give you the same kind of picture. Yeah, then also when you look at that front door, at this time there was nothing at the front door, as you can see, but as of now there is another door that was installed. You can see on this in the picture probably. Yeah, if you were to enter from this is actually going to be the main entrance of the house, quite wide, about 1.5 meters wide. Yeah, that's the living room right there, as you can see, that has a balcony as well. There's a foyer, then there's also a dining. At this time we had not yet done the gypsum works, but I think you're going to see another video on the screen to see the gypsum works. So that's the balcony, as you can see. Then when you get back on the inside, which currently now has a gypsum ceiling, and then the dining also has a gypsum ceiling design, then also has a big balcony that also has kind of a panoramic view of the whole compound in general. Yeah, so that's a window, a serving window that comes through from the kitchen. At this time there was no tiling yet, but maybe you'll be able to see in the pictures after the tiling has been completed. If you're to look under the staircase, is going to be another space which can also be where washing machines can be installed, and also there are different storages right under there. I'm going to maybe share a picture of the idea that is meant to be under the staircase. Yeah, so when you take the stairs and then you go up, of course that's mainly bedrooms. We have one bedroom, two bedrooms actually opposite each other, and then in this large space is a living room, and then on the left side there is actually an office, the one that I showed you before, but this is now the living room for upstairs, and that door that you see right there is a door for the master bedroom. So now this large door is just a balcony from the upper living room that also has a full panoramic view. I like those large pillars that we put there that come all the way from down, and of course it also has a panoramic view of the whole compound, both from the left and also to the right. Okay, and that balcony is also linked to the balcony of the master bedroom, but there's going to be a separation of a large planter in that space that gives the master bedroom their privacy. Yes, so now when we go from there, we head into I believe we can go now into the master bedroom. I think that will be all that I'll show you for this floor. That's the master bedroom, large windows. There are two strip windows in between the headboard Okay, then there's also a walk-in closet with wardrobes on the left and also on the right. Yeah, quite spacious. And then also it has a spacious bathroom. The door that you see right there is a door for the master bathroom. That's all to show you for now on this project. We can head on to the next. Most of you who also have followed this channel, you must be very familiar with this project. Quite a unique concept in this country, yeah. But you remember from the very time we were designing, we got this idea. The client actually got the idea from Pinterest and gave to us and said we can modify it into a 4-bedroom house and also help in fitting it on the plot. So we modified the project. Actually, we didn't modify, we literally redesigned it from scratch, but tried to mimic the kind of style that the client had preferred from Pinterest, yeah. So as you can see, we added, of course, a few things. The compound was already done. One of the first things that we did after the finishing of the shell house. You can see it's quite a small plot, but we tried to do our best to fit everything in it. There's a parking right below the terrace. It can actually park up to 5 cars, yeah, plus a bit of a stepped compound because the land was really slightly steeper than normal. Yeah, but you can see we tried to pull it off. The trees are already growing. The choice of the colors, I like it, what we did there with. And then also you can see we also added a net at the top of the terrace. Yeah, we added a net, a canopy at the top of the terrace. You can see as well, I think everything is really normal about this project. Yeah, so at this point we were literally just doing some final touches. Remember, at this one in particular, actually the client entered before we had completed. So at this time we're coming to do some maintenance works to fix things that still needed fixing. If you find like a leaking pipe, you fix that. If you find the pressure in the taps is not enough, also trying to fix that and things like that. Yeah, so this is where it is now. It should be complete by now. Hopefully when we get some time we can make a full video about it, but I believe we have done a tour of it before on this channel. Okay, so now if I'm to take you a bit on the interior, it's not quite a very large house. You can see that's the living room. Very simple and elegant, something that you can really live with. Yeah, you can see that those trip windows, there's that hallway that separates the living room and kitchen, and then you can see that's a dining. That's the kitchen right there with a bar. Then there's a section for the bedrooms, as you can see here. Of course, there's also like another pantry. If you check on the left, there's a door that goes into the pantry. The pantry literally has no door, and opposite that pantry is actually a a room for a laundry, which we actually did tour. Yeah, so this is a very simple kitchen, as you can see, not too much. Yeah. Then when you take on the left on the stairs, one unique feature about this house is that we literally put a door that enters into the section of the bedrooms, so that when you close that section, no one can access the bedrooms, as you can see here. Then you also have a toilet that is just under the staircases with some ventilation down there, as you can see. And then there's a shower also behind that door, as you can see. Yeah. Very simple and functional. Everything is literally functional. Then when you take the stairs, we have those two very tall windows that go all the way from the half landing of the stairs up to the roof, that supply this area with a lot of natural light. Then this is the only area where we use a gypsum ceiling. You can see in the living room upstairs we have a small gypsum ceiling there at the top. You can see it's a small lounge where people can chill. See on the right is the master bedroom door, closed currently. We might not go into those bedrooms right now because the house has actually already been occupied. Yeah, this balcony, by the way, has a view of the lake. As you can see, when you're on the balcony, you have a panoramic view of the lake, both from the left to the right. You literally have a view of almost everything. Believe me, if you sit in this balcony, the kind of wind that you feel hits really different. Yeah, of course, one of the challenges that you face with such projects where you're close to the lake is the lake flies. Yeah, so once in every season, maybe once in a year, lake flies come around here and there, they infest the house, but there are ways, of course, to go around it. Then that's why you can see that later on there were some nets that were installed, the fly screens that were installed to prevent those lake flies actually from entering into the house. Of course, there are also other ways of mitigating that besides using the fly screens. You can also use fumigation, you can use repellent, plants that actually repel those flies. Some of these methods might not be as effective as others, but there are ways, of course, to go around it. So one of the major things that we are left with, particularly on this project, is basically the cleaning, the post-construction cleaning. Yeah. So most of the times after you've done a house, there's a lot of debris lying around the site. You know, some paint has smudged here and there, but with post-construction cleaning, it can be brought back to the neatness that is actually required. Okay. I think we can go to the next project and give you an update on it. This is the setup project. If you to look at it carefully, actually this particular project, we are not the ones who designed it. The original design was supposed to look like this, but after the client had seen some of our works here and there, they decided to bring us on board and see what we can change. So if you can see, there's one particular house that they had liked. Remember the Chituk project, yeah? Let me just show you, I can show you a video or a picture on the screen, which is also complete, and also we'll be just making a quick tour through it next. But you can see there's a bit of resemblance, but of course we couldn't change so much about the plan, but we adjusted what we can so that we can bring the project come to life. Good enough, it had not actually, the construction had not begun, so we modified a few things on site in terms of the exterior, and you can see how it looks to give it that Mediterranean feel and make it look a bit different. Yeah, so as you can see, there is that large pillar on the gate, that's on the gate canopy, which we also redesigned, of course, first in the software before doing it. Yeah, you can see the compound is also not that big, but it's really enough. And there's parking that is under, and that is on the ground floor, of course, with some more rooms under it. You can see it's quite similar to the Chituk project, basically just a good Mediterranean kind of design. Yeah. At the time of recording this video, we had not yet done any wall preparations, we had not yet done the gypsum ceiling, but as of now, the gypsum ceiling is already done, as you can see if I show you an updated video. And also you can see really everything is going on well. And remember, this project, this house in particular, has about actually it actually has about 4 bedrooms, of course, with other rooms. And one other different thing about this project is that it actually has a closed kitchen. Yes, the kitchen is closed, not like the usual designs that we usually have where it's always open plan. The kitchen is separate from the dining, so there's a door that actually enters into the kitchen. Yeah, so as you can see, it's just really good when you take the stairs and go up, and then you look down from the balcony, and then you sit down on the ground floor. As you can see, it's really a good feel. Of course, the storied houses really feel good. Yeah, as you can see, I think that's all there is to show you about this project. The only house that has a balcony, the only room that has a balcony facing the front is the master bedroom. Of course, there's another study room or a prayer room that also has a mini balcony, and it also has something like a pergola, which we did in steel and painted also to look like wood, that just faces in the front of the structure. Yeah, but I think that's it. Of course, the master bedroom has a walk-in closet. It also has several other small rooms here and there. Yeah, but just to show you around, that's how the project is going as of now. Yes, so I hope you guys are enjoying this content. In the next video, we are going to be sharing you more of kind of educational content, which is really to help you in making the different choices when you're actually going to build your house. And also we are going to be doing very detailed videos on the different steps that are required to pull off really a nice project and minimizing human error as much as possible, which is something that is actually common in the construction industry. Even when someone knows something, there's a possibility they might not do it or might forget to do it unless there's like a proper system or a proper procedure that helps people to always remember something at the particular stage. liked this project. Finally, it was completed, and the client actually moved in slightly before we completed. Most of the times people really have like a particular deadline to enter the house, or sometimes you find that they have a particular threshold of things that need to be done before they can enter the house. So for most of the Ugandan stories, people actually end up entering the house before it is completed, and maybe they can finish the rest of the things later. So as you can see on this one, the client has actually already moved in. This is how the exterior is moving up. The client actually hasn't moved in, but on this particular day they were actually moving in, so we just used the chance to do one final filming. Of course after the 2 to 3 months we still come and monitor. For example, on this particular project, we found that there was I think the master bedroom balcony, water was not moving through the flow trap. So we came to inspect and see what could have been the issue, and then realized that where it's terminated down, where it takes water to the ground, one of the pipes had been covered by the gentleman who was doing stonework, and that had actually missed the eye. So after inspecting that, we found where the issue was. We removed part of the stonework and exposed the pipe so that water can drain properly. Also, there was an issue, I think, in one of the common bathrooms. The toilet was coming with a foul smell, and then we found that one of those small cups that are actually inside the floor trap had been removed, probably by mistake, but by the tiler. Most likely by the tiler, because they're the ones who put that one finally. They're the ones who tamper with them usually when they're doing tiling. And then we had to find another one and put it back, and the foul smell issue was actually resolved. But other than that, everything was okay. The project is complete, as you can see. Let's say 95%, because there's just still a few things that were required to be done on the inside. But as you can see here, it's quite a beautiful project. Also, like usually is, we deviated from the color that we originally had designed it to look like. Remember, the original color was peach, or you can call it pink. But that actually changed because the client preferred to use another color. So as you can see from this angle of the project, you can see those were the plants that are running all the way to the back. Of course, the boundary wall also had not yet been painted. You can see we have our ducts here that are being used to service the pipes and all that. So we have a separate tank stand. One of the advantages of having a separate tank stand is because you can have different tires. Can I call them tires or tiers, whatever you can call them, but you have different levels so that you're even still able to collect rainwater, but still the tank is on a stand. And if also need be, you can even create another small store just below the tank stand. Use it as a store, use it as a boys quarter, use it as whatever you wish for, really. So this is what it was. Things were partly functional at the time the client entered, but there are still some works that are actually ongoing. On this particular project, we actually used aluminium windows, but of course we put steel burglar proofing, as you can see. In one of the videos, I'm going to be talking about the different pros and cons of using either steel windows or using aluminium, things like that in general. So this was a shower for the outside people, and then this is the boys' quarter that has about 2 rooms and also has a kitchen on that side. If you also are able to see well, the client opted for solar aided cooking, if any of you knows what that actually is. You can see we have the burners there. So how solar aided cooking works is that there's a solar panel that powers fans. Those fans actually are connected to those ovens that you can see, so the fans keep blowing air. So when you use less charcoal, for example, you can use about 20% of the charcoal that you would be using in a normal setting. So that charcoal is mixed with those volcanic stones, which also get heated up with the charcoal and become red hot. So as the fan keeps blowing, food keeps cooking. So that saves you a lot of charcoal, by the way, over 80% of savings on charcoal. So as you can see, those are the controls. You can increase on the speeds of the fans and things like that. So for this one, it's a good way to have a clean environment where you have very minimal smoke as much as possible, and also use less money on charcoal on cooking. Remember, we usually do a lot of fancy kitchens on the inside of the house, but not everyone might be conversant with the different appliances that we actually put in the house. So usually for maids or for caretakers, you prefer they actually cook from the outside, though you might still not go for things like charcoal. Using too much charcoal and too much fumes and flames flying around the place, you know. Yeah, it can still create a clean environment and also save on the energy and your pocket as well. So now to take you on the inside of the project, as you can see, when you enter through the back balcony that actually goes into the kitchen, of course you start with a small pantry there, a small pantry where you can put in stuff like that. Then for the kitchen in this particular house, we were not exactly contracted for the kitchen, but the client had someone who really wanted to do for them a kitchen, and they did it, of course. Yeah, that's what the client actually preferred, but it's really functional and it's okay. Then you can see there's also a serving window from the kitchen that looks down also into the dining space. And then also on the other side of the dining is actually the living room also, that actually has a void. I think most of you have really watched the videos for this particular project, and many of you actually liked the design of the house. So we are not going to do a lot of tours moving into the bedrooms here and there, but as you can see, that is what it was. So we are doing the final things so before the client can actually move in, but still there's more work to be done. Okay,
left me talking to the dark. If I called you tonight, would it feel the same? Or have we both moved on to different names? Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars, when the world felt small and your hands felt warm. Take me back to the start, if only for a moment. I've been up since 3, scrolling back where we used to be. Have truths in this late night chat, both of us knowing what it like that. Funny how we talk like we're fine, but your name still lives in my rhyme. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars, when the world felt small and your hands felt warm. Take me back to the start, if only for a moment.
so otherwise I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and look out for more videos that are coming up.
If only for a moment. Take me